she's Zionistic, but she's not Meshuggah, and doesn't have any family in Israel. All of my family's in Israel. I come from a family where both sets of grandparents lived in Israel when I grew up. Perez is a Moroccan name. My father made Aliyah from Morocco when he was a teenager and lived in Israel, and then came to South Africa, and Perez became Perez. I grew up as Perez. He married my mother, whose parents are from Kovna in Lithuania, came to South Africa, who themselves made Aliyah before. My grandfather was the head of Maccabi South Africa sport, from a very, very sporting family. He was a Zionist leader his whole life, revisionist Zionist leader. Him and my grandmother made Aliyah to Tel Aviv when I was 9 years old, so I grew up in a family of both grandparents in Israel. The default position was always I was going to end up in a Pashut. So it's in my DNA on both sides, and therefore, by the way, it's another thing that I've learned in life. One of my rabbinic colleagues, Rabbi Moshe Amsalem, is the head of he's out baked in Ashdod. He lives in our community. He's a rabbi for Sephardi Shul. He said an amazing thing. He said, there's a Mishnah that you all know in Pirkei Avot, which says, Al tadin et chavercha ad shetagia limkomo. Do not judge your fellow person until you're in their place. And he adds a few words, the Sfat Emet. He said, Olam lo tagia limkomo. And you will never ever be in that place. The one thing I've learned about not judging favorably is that you can never, ever judge people because you are never, ever in their place. Ever. And even if you're in the place that you go through the same experience, I know that my wife and I are not experiencing this in the same way. We're not. I'm not a woman. I'm not my wife. I didn't give birth to Yonatan, to Danielle and Yonatan. I don't operate the same way that she does, and we process things very, very differently. I can't begin to imagine what she's going through. And I can't begin to imagine what the other fathers are going through in all of them because they're not me. And they don't have my background. And therefore, I don't believe you can ever judge anybody if we are truly spiritual people. The only time you have to judge people is when you're the judge. Sometimes you are the judge. You know, you can't be in court and say, we don't judge unfavorably. Hello, you're the judge. You know what I mean? So you can't be in life when you're the decision maker and say, we don't judge. You've got a decision to make, judge. But most of us, when we judge unfavorably, we're not the judges. Nobody died and made us the judge. And therefore, in life situations where we're not called upon to be the decision maker, then why are we judging people? Who made you the judge? And therefore, sometimes you can judge actions and say you don't want those actions in your home. You can judge actions, but don't judge the person unfavorably. You're not them. And even if you face similar situations, their kids are not your kids, you aren't them, you don't have the same nature, nurture. It says the Sfat Emet, don't judge another person till you're in their place, and you can never be in their place. And therefore the place I'm trying to be in is non-judgmental. Non-judgmental of people that I vehemently disagree with for so many different... And that doesn't mean being non-judgmental means you sit down and say, become a doormat. I'm a very, very big believer also in win-win. And win-win means that I'm not going to force you to do it my way, but I'm not going to let you force me to do it your way. It's called win-win. And one of the big insights I've got in human relationships for me is that win-lose as opposed to win-win, each has a place. It depends on the type of relationship. If the relationship is one of competition, then the aim is to win. I'm a very competitive person. Mm-hmm. I grew up in sport. You won't find a more competitive person on the sports field. If you step onto the sports field, the aim of the game is, I'm here to beat you. Yes, there's sportsmanship. I'm not going to punch you in the face, you know. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to act with sportsmanship. But I'm going to do everything in my power to beat you. It's not a friendly game. I always hated friendly games. It's a friendly game. You didn't come to sport to play friendly. Sometimes it's fine to be friendly, okay? But then it's only a friendly game. Because what does being a friendly game mean? It's no longer about the competition. That's fine. The problem is, and war is not war is a competition. We are here to beat the heck out of Hamas. Yay. Not because we want to beat Hamas, because we want to ensure that this regime of evil, which is holding in the most hideous way men, women, and children, including our son, who himself has been injured, and the Bibas baby is 10 or 11 months old now, and this crazy situation, a regime which can do that has no raison d'etre. And a regime which has done what it did, and you've seen some of the things that they've done, and can do that again, has this network of Nazi evil has to be disbanded. And therefore, when you go into battle, there's nothing friendly about battle. The problem, I believe, in life is we often take the mindset of competitions into relationships where that's what destroys the relationship. Certain relationships are not about competition, they're about connection. And when a relationship is about connection, it doesn't matter who's winning or losing. It matters what the connection is. And therefore, where is win-lose appropriate? In competitive relationships, where the essence of the relationship is a competition. Where does it not apply and it's destructive? In marriage, in rearing children, in Am Yisrael. Yes, where we are competing maybe for different views, but we're not trying to strong-arm others, because you don't strong-arm family members. You don't strong-arm people, because it always comes with repercussions. Where the ikar is the relationship, then the relationship's about connection, not about competition. We all know that. We all know that in relationships, not about whether you're right or not. We all know that. I know we're always right. We know we're always right. But it actually doesn't matter if you're right. It actually doesn't matter if you're right. Because what matters is, how does the relationship fare? That's what that is. It's about connection. So I interrupted my train of thought. I was saying, back to my wife and I, I'm very, very lucky that we made the decision on the same page. Because had we not been 100% on the same page, the unimaginable pain would have been harder. Had on any level one of us felt that we pushed the other one into Aliyah, I'm a very good diplomat. Very good at my wife's worked it out early on, so now I've got no arsenal against her. She catches me out every time. So now I have no choice but to just, go for genuine win-win. Luckily it happened early in the marriage. She said, you're not going to sweet talk your way in or out of this one. And therefore, I'm very, very, very grateful that the decision to make Aliyah, there were times that Shelley was ready to make Aliyah and I was not, for various reasons, to come back. There were times that she was ready, I was ready, and she was not. And I'm very grateful that we never made Aliyah when things were bad. We thought South Africa, and we made Aliyah together. 100%. Because had it been 99%, that 1% can destroy a marriage. And it's very, very important in life, and it's difficult. It's very difficult to find a genuine win-win. The default position is win-lose, or lose-win, or lose-lose. The best book that I found where it clarifies these ideas is one of the best books I've found on leadership and self-help. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's a chapter there called Seek First to Understand, Then to Be Understood. And there Kavi clarifies what win-win is. And I fervently believe in all relationships, if you work hard enough at it, you can find a win-win.